So welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Another deep dive.
You know, after our last one on networking for introverts, I was thinking about how so much of that boils down to, well,
networking for introverts.
Just being able to chat.
Oh, yeah.
Like how to...
Just knowing how to talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. It's just basic conversation.
And it got me wondering, is small talk really an art form?
Is it an art form?
Yeah. Is it just like a social obligation we all have to just like deal with?
I think it's got to be an art.
You think so?
Yeah, think about it.
Okay.
Like those people who can just walk into a room and charm everyone.
Yeah.
They must have some secret formula.
Maybe.
Some secret small talk formula.
I don't know about a formula.
Right.
People with these small talk powers tend to be luckier and more successful.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of dramatic, doesn't it?
Maybe a little.
A little bit.
But the article tells this story about this person named B.
Right.
Who seems to just land amazing jobs and get invited to all the coolest parties just by being a good conversationalist.
So are we saying smooth talkers rule the world?
Oh,
I don't know if I buy that.
The article isn't saying that it's like manipulation or anything. It's more about like the power of genuine connection.
Okay.
Like when you can easily chat with someone, you build rapport.
Uh-huh.
And that can open doors.
Okay, I can see that.
Right.
Yeah, it's not about tricking people, but about making them feel comfortable and connected.
Exactly. Small talk powers.
All right.
And some of them are pretty surprising. Like one tip is to not be afraid to reveal flaws.
Don't we usually try to like put our best foot forward?
Right.
Why would you want to show your flaws?
I know, but think about it.
Okay.
When someone is willing to be a little vulnerable, it makes them more relatable.
Yeah.
You're basically saying like, hey, I'm not perfect.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That could make people feel more comfortable opening up themselves.
Right.
Like you're creating a safe space for authentic conversation.
Exactly. And maybe that's why the article claims that these flaw revealers tend to be luckier.
Luckier?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
People trust them more, and that leads to more opportunities.
Okay. But I can see how being genuine can make you more likable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Which definitely helps in life.
Which definitely helps.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely helps in life, yeah.
Another tip that stood out to me was be genuinely curious.
Oh, be curious.
Seems basic, but I think we often forget to actually listen and engage with curiosity when we're chatting with someone. I'm a total psychology nerd.
Oh, cool.
And there's actually this thing called the Ben Franklin effect.
The Ben Franklin effect.
It basically says that when you ask someone for a favor, they end up liking you more.
Wait, seriously?
Isn't that crazy?
It's so counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But the theory is that when someone does something nice for you, their brain tries to justify it.
Wow.
By thinking, well, I must like this person if I'm helping them out.
Okay.
And asking a genuine question is kind of like asking for a small favor.
Right.
The favor of sharing their knowledge or experience.
Oh, that's mind-blowing.
I know, right?
So by being curious, you're actually triggering this psychological loop that makes people like you more.
Exactly.
Wow.
It makes sense, though.
Yeah.
Everyone loves to feel like their thoughts and opinions are valued. When you show genuine interest, you're making the other person feel heard and respected.
This is making me rethink my entire approach to small talk.
Yeah. Like, it's not just about making noise.
It's not just about making noise.
It's about creating a connection.
It's about creating a connection, yeah.
It's like you're saying, I'm interested in you.
I'm interested in you.
Yeah.
As a person, oh, this is making me think about that time I was at this networking event. And I was just feeling super awkward. You know, like the kind of awkward where you're just holding a half-empty glass of wine.
Oh, yeah.
And trying to avoid eye contact with everyone.
I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Well, I saw this guy standing by himself looking equally uncomfortable.
Okay.
And I just walked over and said, hey, I'm terrible at networking events. What about you? And he just burst out laughing.
Really?
Yeah, it turns out he felt the exact same way.
Wow.
And we ended up having this great conversation about how much we both hated small talk.
And ironically, it was the most genuine.
Oh, see, sometimes the most disarming thing you can do is just admit you're not a fan of the whole charade.
Totally. It's like giving people permission to be themselves.
Yeah.
Speaking of being yourself.
Okay.
The article also talks about controlling your emotions in conversations.
Ooh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
How do you balance being genuine with not,
right.
emotionally dumping on someone?
Right. It's about being mindful of the energy you're bringing to the interaction.
Okay.
You want to be authentic, but also considerate the other person's emotional space.
So it's okay to share your feelings, but maybe save the really heavy stuff for your therapist or close friends.
Exactly. It's about reading the room and being sensitive to the context.
Okay, that makes sense. I think I've definitely been guilty of oversharing in the past, especially when I'm nervous.
We've all been there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a learning process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is being aware of your speaking pace.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah.
I can be a total motor mouth when I get excited.
Uh-huh.
Why is pacing so important in small talk?
Well, if you're speaking too quickly, people might have trouble following you.
You're right.
And it can make them feel overwhelmed.
Like they're being bombarded with words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you speak too slowly, it can make the conversation drag.
Right.
And people might lose interest.
So it's like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You got to find that just right pace.
You got it.
Yeah.
And it's something you can practice.
Okay.
Pay attention to how people respond to your pace and adjust accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Do they seem engaged?
Yeah.
Are they leaning in?
Right.
Or are their eyes glazing over?
This whole conversation is reminding me of that famous quote, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak."
Oh, I love that one.
Right.
It's so true.
It is. And the A Day magazine article really emphasizes that point.
Okay.
It encourages readers to be present, to truly listen, and to respond thoughtfully.
So it's not just about waiting for your turn to speak, but actually absorbing what the other person is saying.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's about being an active participant in the conversation, not just a passive listener.
Yeah, I've noticed that when I'm really engaged in a conversation, I naturally start asking more questions. It's like my curiosity takes over.
Right.
And I genuinely want to learn more about the other person.
And that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
That's when small talk transforms from a chore into a genuine connection.
So are we saying that small talk can actually be enjoyable?
I think so.
Really?
It's all about approaching it with the right mindset.
Oh.
If you see it as an opportunity to connect with someone, to learn something new, or just to brighten someone's day, it can be surprisingly rewarding.
Okay, I'm starting to come around to your way of thinking.
All right.
But let's be real. Small talk can still be awkward sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what about those situations where you're stuck talking to someone that you have absolutely nothing in common with?
That's where the real art comes in.
Okay.
You got to get creative.
Yeah.
You could try to find some common ground, however small it may be. Or you could use it as an opportunity to practice your listening skills about a different perspective.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a chance to step outside your comfort zone and expand your worldview.
Exactly. And who knows? You might even discover a hidden passion.
Oh.
Or meet someone who becomes a lifelong friend.
All right. You've officially converted me. I'm now a believer in the power of small talk.
All right.
I still think it takes practice.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure our listeners are wondering how they can level up their conversational game.
Well, one thing that always helps me is to remember.
Okay.
That everyone has a story to tell. Really? Everyone is interesting in their own way.
Yeah.
If you approach people with that mindset, it's easier to find those conversation sparks.
It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
It's about seeing the humanity in everyone, even in those fleeting interactions.
Exactly. And it's about being open to those unexpected connections that can pop up anywhere.
This whole conversation reminds me of this time I was waiting in line at the grocery store, and I struck up a conversation with the cashier about her earrings.
Nice.
And it turns out she made them herself.
Wow, that's cool.
And she had this whole, side hustle selling jewelry online.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, you never know where, a simple compliment or observation might lead. It was such a, random encounter.
Yeah.
But it really made my day.
Nice.
And who knows? Maybe it led to a few more sales for her Etsy shop.
See, you're spreading good vibes through small talk.
Oh.
I think that's a superpower in itself.
I like that, the power of positive small talk.
Yeah.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the surprising benefits of small talk to practical tips on how to make it more enjoyable and meaningful.
Yeah, we've explored the importance of genuine curiosity, vulnerability, emotional intelligence, and active listening.
And we've busted the myth that small talk has to be boring or superficial.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
If you approach it with an open mind and a genuine desire to connect,
right,
it can be a really enriching experience.
Totally. Before we wrap up, I wanted to give a shout out to a channel that we've been enjoying lately.
Okay.
It's called Mickeytolife.
Mickeytolife? Yeah.
They have some great insights.
Yes.
On personal growth and self-improvement.
Definitely worth checking out.
So here's our final takeaway for you, dear listeners.
Okay.
Small talk is an art.
It is.
But it's a learnable art.
Yes.
With a little practice and the right mindset, you could transform those everyday interactions into something truly special.
And who knows, you might just unlock a world of possibilities.
Wow.
You never even imagined.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the power of small talk.
Until next time.
Keep those conversations flowing.
Keep chatting.